Welcome to this conversation. Today we have our special guest, Rich Schelsky, athletic director, boys basketball coach, and now director of the Gobbler Games Shootout. And that's what we're here to talk about today, the 5th annual Gobbler Games. And Rich, thanks for being with us today. You took on a little bit of a burden here in the 5th year, and how's things going?
Yeah, honestly, it was really pretty smooth. I mean, they came to me asking me if I would, I'm not sure I have a real big to do in all of this other than scheduling the games. And they asked me if I would, take that over, and I said, yeah, obviously I'm a basketball guy, so I have a lot of connections and can get a hold of people maybe a little easier than people that aren't in the basketball world. And the scheduling of games was really smooth. The one thing, and this is not a knock on Decatur Central, but my goal, like I told them when they asked me to do this, I want all Wabash Valley teams. I think, this is a premier event early in the season for Wabash Valley basketball, and we're almost there. We've got 14 teams, and 13 of the 14 are in the Wabash Valley. I think 9 of the 14 are in the Classic. So moving forward, my hope, and we're missing a couple key teams from the Wabash Valley that I'd love to get in at some point in time. So that's going to be my goal going forward. But it was a smooth process, and teams were able to match up very quickly, and it's been a lot of fun. So and I'm looking forward to the whole day. I think we got a great day of basketball coming.
Well, those who don't know, it's an early season invitational to get the fluid and everything, everybody getting excited about boys basketball. It's no class. 1A can play a 4A. Yep. It's not by coin toss or anything else, but it's by matchup, who's going to give us the best games.
Yep, for sure. And you look down the gamut of games, and we open up the day with South Vermillion and North Central, and 2 teams that are probably in pretty big rebuild modes. But again, Wabash Valley teams true to the Wabash Valley. I think that'll be a very competitive game. The beauty of the Gobbler, we have a unique setup of a schedule here in the Wabash Valley. Now that we've gone with the Gobbler games, we have this Thanksgiving, what I call an early preview of all the teams.
Right.
And it's a one-day deal in the same location where everybody can come watch a bunch of games, see a lot of teams in the Valley. Then, you skip forward a month later and everybody's in Terre Haute for the Classic, and they can kind of see the progression of some of these teams.
Right.
And then you get to the postseason. So it's a great early season, environment for teams to, and again, matchups, most of the matchups, some, like you've got Northview and Greencastle, old WIC opponents. They wanted to keep each other on the schedule. That is a great way to get them to play each other still. So you've got some matchups, like for us, we've played, this is what, our 8th year as a school, and I think we've played Terre Haute North one time in 8 years. So that's a unique matchup. So you get a lot of unique matchups, and that to me kind of makes it even more interesting.
The Gobbler Games is named aptly because it's right after Thanksgiving. All the games, one day, boom, 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 and it's very affordable.
Yes, for sure. I mean, it's one of the greatest deals around. And it'll be at Greencastle High School this year, the McAnally Center. Not to knock on any other school in the Wabash Valley, but in my opinion, the McAnally Center is the nicest high school facility around. And the renovations they've done around the McAnally Center just puts it really over the top. They do and they're going to do a great job of hosting. Doug and Bryce will both have everything, set up, and it'll be easy access for fans. And, one ticket for 7 games for all day. I mean, that you can't beat that anywhere. And, even though Greencastle's not a real big school, it's a college town. You've got some stuff to do there in town. If you want to skip out a game or something. So I'm really looking forward to it. Obviously, the ultimate goal always with this deal has been to play in the Holman Center. That's only worked out one time. And if we're not going to play in a college venue, then there's no reason not to take it to the best high school facility around. And I think a lot of these teams coming in will probably have never played in the McAnally Center.
Right.
We're fortunate that's where our sectional's at, so we get to see it every year. But a lot of these teams, they're going to walk in, they're going to say, "Man, this place is awesome," and it's just a great gym, and it's going to be a great day.
Well, since its origination, everybody marvels at the floor. They love playing on the floor. I don't know what's different about the floor, but it feels different. They say when you jump on it, and
that dates back all the way to when I was in high school, and we're talking over 30 years ago. That's where our sectional was pre-class when we were Rockville High School, and sure enough, even back then, it was known as a very springy gymnasium floor, and guys could jump way higher there than you could jump anywhere else. Now, there's a old folklore out there that IU went in there and scrimmaged a few years after I was out of high school. They had like an exhibition inter-squad scrimmage game there, and I think Calvert Cheney basically determined that the rims were a little low. I have no idea if that's true or not, but it might add to but it doesn't make sense now, so it tells me there's just something there on the place where it makes it really springy, because when our kids go there and practice for the sectional, I have to put out like a 5-minute time towards the end where I kind of let them free shoot, and really free shooting turns into free dunking, because guys that can't dunk everywhere else can dunk there. So it's a unique place.
Well, everybody would love to find out what the secret is. But yeah, you're right. That is a great facility. There's not a bad seat in the place. No. And you come and you see games all day, like you indicated. What's the price?
I think it's $10.
$10.
I think. Don't quote me on that. I'm not in charge of tickets, but I'm pretty sure it'll be a $10 ticket for $10 or $12 for all day.
Well, where else are you going to go for 7 games?
Absolutely.
14 teams, and for $10 or $12. I mean, that's a gift.
Oh, it's a great bargain. I mean, it's a great bargain, and you look at the way it's everything in the world. Everything's going up. High school tickets go, just for a single JV varsity game now, they go from anywhere from $6 to $8 or $9 when you get closer to Indianapolis, some 10. So, when you're getting 7 varsity games, really good matchups for that price, I don't think, obviously the Wabash Valley Classic's a really good deal later in December as well. When you can get that kind of bargain and I'm biased, but I still think the purest form of basketball is Indiana high school basketball. I think, with the fan interaction, rivalries, kids that, have worked their tails off to become varsity basketball players, just the community aspect of it. I don't think there's a better thing to go watch. Like, I would rather personally go to a day of high school games than to go over to Gamebridge Fieldhouse and watch, IU, and that's not a knock on college basketball, because I love college basketball, but I'd rather watch a day full of high school games than 2 or 3 college games in a big venue like in Indianapolis. So I think it's a great opportunity for people to come out and see a lot of really good high school basketball.
We're talking about great games, a great opportunity for you to enjoy high school basketball, but we had 4 guys who stepped forward with this concept 5 years ago. Yep. You had Ryan Luce, State Farm Insurance. You had Jeff Mahalik, Mossy Oak Properties. You had Chad Overton, Serve Pro, and you had Rob York, York Automotive. Stepped forward, had a vision, put the money out, and they still put the money out every year to sponsor this and bring it about to the community. And I thought that was, you had 4 guys with vision.
Yep. Well, I think you have 4 guys with vision, 4 guys with great ties to the Wabash Valley, and 4 guys that are very passionate about Indiana high school basketball. You can go down the list of those guys. Rob has been involved with the Greencastle program for years. His kids have gone through there playing. Obviously,
he's been one of our charter sponsors.
Oh yes, Rob's awesome. Yeah, Rob's awesome, and he's a big basketball guy. Ryan, obviously his kid played for me. Ryan was a great player in high school, very passionate about high school sports in general, and Ryan does a lot for us, in this bi-county area and sponsoring the banks, our banks of the Wabash tournaments.
He's
and
got
things
a daughter
like that.
that's a pretty good ball
and
player.
He's got a daughter that's a pretty good volleyball player too. Jeff has been a basketball guy all his life. He actually was my JV coach our last year of Rockville High School. Played basketball at West Vigo. Very passionate guy about the game. So and then Chad, obviously he is a big ISU supporter and has grown his business tremendously over the years, and is a great advocate for Wabash Valley sports. And it's just a great group of guys that put something together that when they threw it out there way back 5 or 6 years ago, really back in the spring prior to it happening, I don't know that anybody thought that it was a bad idea. Like, I was on board right away saying this is great for the Wabash Valley.
It's a no-brainer. We got to do this.
And their commitment to it has been excellent and awesome. So we really appreciate it.
And it's blossomed. It's grown every year.
Yep.
And like you indicated earlier, you've got teams wanting in.
Yep.
And so I know we televise, and I'm not promoting us, but the audience has grown every year also. I mean, it's significant.
Well, I think, a couple factors there. Obviously, it's the early season high school basketball. If people can't get out to it, they want to make sure they want to catch a glimpse. And we've had some pretty big marquee games in this deal. I mean, you can go all the way back to the first year. I mean, not to toot our own horn, but we played Linton in the nightcap, and that was, that's the year us coming off of being in the state championship. Linton was going to be really good. We've had some really good games in this, and it piques a lot of people's interest. And there's, again, nothing purer and better than high school basketball. So it's a great way to kind of get a view of a lot of teams.
A lot of teams early, good basketball all day, and it's inexpensive. You can come watch, and it's 7 games. You can come watch 2 or 3 games, go get lunch, maybe the wife do some shopping if she came with you, and then come back and watch some more marquee games. So don't miss this opportunity, the Gobbler Game Shootout.
No, absolutely not. I think this year actually might be the best yet. I think we've got a great slate of games, and there's some big time matchups there towards the end of the day. And I know one in particular that a lot of people in the Wabash Valley have spoken about for a long time since the schedule came out. And that's going to be a unique game, as Todd and I are obviously very close friends, and we have boys that have grown up playing with each other in same grade and really good friends. So a lot of things going on in that game that'll make that a really unique game.
Got 3 key games, 3 key teams that people are anxious to see play, not only in the Gobbler Game Shootout, but throughout the whole season. You got 3 teams that are expected to go into the postseason.
Oh, for sure. You look, the 4 o'clock game, Northview and Greencastle, and let's not forget Greencastle's no slouch. They had a great season last year. They have a lot of guys back. They're in our sectional. They know us as well as anyone, and they're going to be very good. But obviously Northview's had a great 2-year run. The season they had last year was remarkable. And obviously they're looking forward to building on that. I know they want to make that next step and get past the regional. They got they were fortunate enough to get invited into something very unique around Christmas in the Hall of Fame Classic. Right. Kudos to them for that. And, they're a team, obviously that everybody's going to look at in the Wabash Valley is definitely one of the, anybody that ranks the Wabash Valley teams, they're definitely in or around the top. Terre Haute North has all of their guys back but one. They had a great run last year. I mean, I don't think people understand quite how hard that is. I'm not a big class basketball guy. I mean, obviously it's been beneficial for schools like us.
Right.
But, Terre Haute North, to go through the gauntlet they have to go through in the tournament to make it to the final 8 teams, that was tremendous last year, and they're going to be really good. Obviously.
Well, like you said, they only lost 1 player.
Yeah.
And the kids that they are returning have grown a little bit too.
No, grown, gotten better.
Yeah.
We actually saw them this summer at a shootout in Cloverdale, and they're just going to be really good. They're going to be a nightmare to have to play against. And then obviously we have high expectations here We've got a lot of guys back, and
You guys have a basketball team?
yeah, and a lot of guys back, and a lot of guys that are really motivated to get past where we've been the last 3 years, which has been really close to what everyone's end goal is in high school basketball.
Everybody wants to win that last game,
and so we're looking forward to the season as well. So just going to be a lot of really good, and honestly, the one non-Wabash Valley team, Decatur Central, they're going to bring over some really good players. They have I think he's a junior. He's a junior. Nash Sigmund can really shoot the basketball. He is one of the better shooters in the state of Indiana. Again, a team that Wabash Valley people don't get to see probably ever. No. So that's kind of the uniqueness of that. And I know Coach Jefferson at Terre Haute South. They lost a bunch of seniors, but I'm going to be interested to see what they look like as they kind of move towards their youth and things like that. So it's just going to be a fun day and a lot of unique matchups.
Gobbler Game Shootout. Director Rich Schelsky, thank you for watching this conversation.